Okay. So it looks like we are about ready to go here. Let's get Mike's sound coming through. Let's transition him in. And let us undeafen and let Mike be heard. Hello, Mike.
Hello, hello.
I'm going to turn you down a tiny bit because you sound loud to me, but folks, let me know if I'm making him too quiet and I will fix it. I will warn everyone in advance, the technical issue is on my side, so Mike is going to be a little ahead on his commentary just because of the nature of how we are doing this, but this should be a fabulous run all the same, and your donation incentive for 3 hearts was not met, so you do it with as many hearts as you would like. Look what you folks have created. You've created a monster.
All right, let me. Only thing I do is I've moved some windows around, and now I can't see my splits. And I'm a good speedrunner, which means I need to see my splits to know where I'm going next. You'd think it'd be easy to know where I'm going next, since it's reverse boss order, and clearly, I'm gonna go from Dungeon 8 to Dungeon 1.
Well, yeah.
What? There's a little bit more to it than that, so I just want to make sure I can see everything I need to see. I'm ready to go. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, and the timer started and the game didn't start. Oh man, 3, 2, 1, go! There we go. Boy, it would not be a marathon if it wasn't just a crashing sound of marathon technical difficulties. But this is going to be Link's Awakening, 100% reverse boss order. Which means we'll be going from Dungeon 8 to Dungeon 1 before doing the final boss rush in the Windfish Egg. And we'll be getting 100% of the items along the way. If the incentive was met, we would still be picking up all the heart pieces and heart containers and all those fun items. But it is played on a ROM hack where the items just simply don't do anything. But, wow, I'm just going to be stuck on this screen. There we go. But we are not playing a 3-heart run. So I'll be picking up all the heart containers, all the heart pieces. I'll be picking up 20 of the 26 seashells, which adds up to 100%, I promise you. To get our level 2 sword, getting the boomerang, all that fun stuff. Wow, that's a prickly thing right there. But we're going to have the full kit of glitches and bugs at our disposal. Anything that does not let me duplicate items is going to be A-OK. As duplicating items is banned in the 100% category. So every item I picked up, every item that I do pick up, rather, may not be picked up by a normal method, but it will be picked up in its normal location, regardless of what the screen may look like at the time I pick it up. The first glitch I'm going to be making the most use out of is the screen warping trick. It very famously was shown off in an issue of, Nintendo Power. And it's a very easy trick to do. It is not like a capital F, capital P, frame perfect, but your timing does matter and it does change how the trick works. And you just want to open up this map screen as you're right on the edge of a screen and you're moving from one room to another. And that'll let the room change around Link, but Link's position is going to stay the same. So instead of entering on the left and leaving on the right, you're going to enter on the left and also leave. You're going to leave on the left rather and also enter on the left. It takes a little getting used to, but it'll catch on pretty quick, I think.
And just to let you know, a question in chat was about whether these glitches still work in the DX version.
Some of them do, albeit a little bit differently. Like the Counterworld I just blazed through works in the DX version. Super Jump that I'm doing now, that works in the DX version. The screen warping trick does not work in the DX version. Oh man, cool. My splits are turning red so you can see just how far behind I am. That's alright though. It just means pressure to hit these green splits when I can. The screen warping trick does not work in any version of the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX cartridge. They patched that one out real good. The Counterworld, which I'll talk about a little bit more when we get there. Again. The Counterworld does work, but it works completely differently between the original and the DX versions. In the DX version, you actually get, items. It's a really useful place to be. You can pick up all sorts of different things there, including a lot of the trading sequence items. In the original version of Link's Awakening, if I open up any chest there, all I get is pain and misery for my ears through a fantastic audio glitch. And I'm going to steal the bow here, and I stole the shovel too. As progress towards 100%, come up here to the Ocarina Cave. I'm going to get to talk a little bit more about how Link's Awakening is a very big game, especially for a Game Boy game. There is a lot to do and see, and you can spend a lot of time exploring all the different caves and different places to go. But if you're able to get out of bounds and travel through rooms in an unintended way, the game is stored, or I should say the map is stored in game data much differently than it plays out in a normal playthrough. So if you're able to get out of bounds, you can really sequence break and hop around the map and do all sorts of fun things. Boom, boom, booda, boom. Whoop, go that way. And so now I'm going to try to smooth up down a couple of rooms here to get set up for another trip into the Kennel World. And the Kennel World doesn't just work differently depending on what version of the game you're on. It also works differently depending on how many enemies you kill before you go in. 1, 2, 3. That is 4. Now, if you're wondering why I'm beating up poor old grandma here, it's because, hey now. It's because when I did that screen warp through the tree line, it skipped over a loading trigger to change over... Oh, look what I did. I just skipped over a loading trigger to change what sprites were loaded in. So it doesn't load in the correct enemy sprite, and poor grandma's just there waiting to get whacked.
No, Grandma. Why would you do that to Grandma?
2. One more.
Grandma just wanted your love.
Well, now I think about it, I was actually playing Wonder Song the other day, and I broke poor grandma's heart there too. It's just been a bad week for grandma. Alright, so I need to scroll up twice here, because I'm going to be in the tree line, and I don't want to be stuck in the trees. 1, there we go. I can count to 2 today. That also makes 6 enemies, so we're going to be using a 6-kill trip into the Kennel World for the rest of the speedrun. Because that lets a certain set of staircases I need to use work. It's one of the things that changes depending on the number of kills you have before you enter the Kennel World. For some of them, upwards facing staircases work and downward facing don't. For other numbers, it's the other way around. It's very, very easy to get into the Kennel World, and you can do a lot of things while you're there. It's very fun to just play around. Hey, yeah, give me that big fat fish right there. Gimme. All right. So I'll talk about it a little bit more since we're going to go back in. Whoa, don't actually save and quit here. Let's walk out. Just going to grab a second shell. This should be number 2. Count. Yes, all right. So to enter Kennel World, you just get right over here, and you have the little wall clip in, and you just move diagonally into the front door of the doghouse there. And since you enter into it from a weird direction, the game doesn't know where to send you, so it just sends you here. Which, as you can, if you're very familiar with the game, it looks like we start on in Dungeon 2, and we're still in Dungeon 2. And I think we're actually still in Dungeon 2. But it's just a very, very, hey now, very, very glitched out version of Dungeon 2. I've gotten myself a little bit lost here in the Kennel World. Hold on, let me, this is where I want to be. Just had to focus on gameplay there a little bit before I got lost. That's what I want. But that trip lets me get into Dungeon 3, and I'm here for 2 things. I want to get, if I can, don't you dare. I want to get that chest over there on the side by screen warping over to it. And this is where the timing of your screen warp matters, because it's not a frame-perfect trick unless I want to do what I'm trying to do here, which is stay close enough to the edge of the screen that when I hop off that wall, I'm still on this outer rim. That's going to let me get the boss key for Dungeon 3. We're not going to go fight it right now, but now I'm ready to go when I come back later. The second thing I want is this chest right here. Left and up. And these are my Pegasus boots. And now we're going to make our way back to the Kennel World one more time. One, 2, do a little excavating. Boom, boom. Oh, you punk. That's 3. And we'll be seeing this cave a couple of times, just because it's very handy, easy to get to. There are 3 very easy to kill enemies in here. 4, 5, 6. Now back to the kind of world one more time. I have one more big item I need to get before I start going dungeon diving, and that is the flippers. I definitely need to get the flippers before I start sequence breaking and doing the game backwards. So one last trip to the counter world here. Grab the magic powder. Ooh. Sword guy there usually gets me. I'm gonna get some weird movement through this screen. The instrument has a little something to do with that, but I just want to get to the staircase, get myself in Dungeon 4. And the only thing I'm here for right now are the flippers. Obviously I can't fight the boss yet because of the boss order restriction. So I'm gonna get to this screen. I'm gonna screen warp up. You can see I didn't quite get my timing there, so I wasn't close enough to the edge of the screen to keep going. This time it looks good. So I can skip right on over. Grab the flippers. There we go. And now we can make our way to Dungeon 8. Let's see how fancy I can. I'm in the trees. Yep. I'll try out one more time. It does not save enough time to be worth doing this more than a couple of times. Yeah, so we'll go the slightly longer way. One of the other technical issues, and this is a much more mundane technical issue than being stream related, is that I can't find a power cord for my GameCube, which is how I usually play this. So I fired up BGB, playing on emulator today, which is not a big deal, except that I seem to be just a bit off on some of my screen warps. But we'll be okay. I'll be able to adjust. My D-pad has stopped working. It is going to be that kind of run today. My D-pad has just suddenly stopped working in the middle of the run. What are you doing, BGB? It just dropped. Why would you drop my D-pad inputs all of a sudden? Look at that. It's just gonna be that kind of day on the technical side of things. Sometimes you can just tell. We will press on. Link wouldn't give up, and neither will we. We are, however, going to skip pretty much all of Dungeon 8. I'm going to screen warp to the right here. I'm going to screen warp up a screen here. Up. Screen warp. That ought to... This ought to... There we go. Grab my magic rod. And now I'm going to go ahead and just eat a bird here. Alright, bird ran away. There we go. Normally would not take a death, but I don't want to sit around on half a heart. I'm trying to do these screen warps here. I'm just going to end up screen warping into a bird and being very upset with myself. There we go. So I'm going to screen warp up to this little ledge, which exists only for cosmetic purposes. There's no legal way for you to get there. But I'm very glad it's there, because it lets me get back to the Dungeon 8 entrance very quickly. And now we're going to skip the dungeon key here. And use a super jump. Jump from here into Hothead's room. Fun fact about fighting Hothead is if he hits you, or if his little bits of lava hit you, they deal 4 hearts of damage. And we're doing him first, so we've got 3 maximum hearts. So definitely got to be careful. If you jump to the lava, you only take half a heart of damage. So if things look bad, that's your exit strategy, is to jump in the lava. It's going to put us at the end of Dungeon 8, in a good time. Talk about the charity, any upcoming incentives. This is a good time to do it. Don't do this to me, there.
Okay, can I plug a couple incoming or upcoming incentives while we're getting a few
Absolutely
instruments?
can do
So we're
that.
just going to do a quick. We do have some runs immediately after this, but after those fill-in runs, because the schedule has changed due to Hurricane Sadness, we do have the Final Fantasy I randomizer run where you do have the opportunity to name the Valkyries of Light. So we will be taking the top 8 names, so each runner will have 4 different names. So currently we have Lich Bless This Run and Is This Even Rando? So if you want to change one or maybe all of those, check out the incentives document and check out what you might want to change. Also, we are still $125 away from them being forced to fight Warmech, which is the big super boss of that game. So you definitely want to see that.
All right. Definitely want to keep in mind the everybody who's in the path of Hurricane Michael. I got to catch a little bit of the footage on the news at work, and it's definitely been a very big, very dangerous storm. So I think the next owner was going to be Sloa.
Yes, and I can confirm it sounds like he's safe, so that is, we don't have to worry about Sloa, but it did mean he could not be here for what I feel is extremely understandable reasons.
So we have a couple things to check off our list before we get to Dungeon 7. One of which is picking up all of our inventory upgrades. And if you play through the game casually, you can see there's one up here by Dungeon 8. There's one in the forest, which is kind of west-ish on the map. And the last one's, I think it's very far in the south on the beach, if I remember correctly. But in game data, they're all right together, just like this. One right after the other. So if you can just go out of bounds, you can do 1, 2, 3, knock them all out just like this. If you're not sure what's going on, because I'm playing Japanese, this little demon dude, who I think is the Mad Batter, but I always forget his name when it comes time to run this in a marathon.
He's Mad Batter and Link to the Past, but, you know.
But he's very, very upset that I've thrown magic powder down the well and woken him up from his, very long, peaceful sleep. So he's going to curse me by letting me carry twice as many bombs, arrows, or powder. If you are just learning a more mainstream category of Link's Awakening, picking up especially the bomb upgrade or the arrow upgrade might cost you a little bit of time, but it gives you so much extra safety in the run. It's a good way to, when you're picking up the run, it's a good step to take because ammo counts in those categories are very, very important. You do not want to be like me and be in a tournament race and realize you've run out of arrows before Dungeon 8. That's a solid 20 or 30 minute time loss trying to navigate Dungeon 8 without being able to do any of the tricks or glitches. Do not want to do that. Definitely cannot recommend doing that. So I'm going to go through this cave completely out of bounds as well. And you're going to see me just hopping around on these cracked tiles because when I screen warp, the timer for when they break does not reset. So it's very easy to get stuck in a soft block where you're constantly respawning on top of the pit you just created. But all of that screen warping is a rooster skip. It lets me skip having to do the rooster skip, which is definitely one of the hardest tricks in this game to learn. I usually show off the cave. I forgot to show off the cave that you actually skip by doing that. But it saves a lot of time and a lot of frustration by taking one of the hardest tricks out of the run. But it does require you going out of bounds and wrong warping, so it is that trick is banned in the more mainstream Link's Awakening categories. And we're scooting right by the building as well, but that building on the top of the screen here is where Luigi is. Luigi is here. He's taking care of roosters and chickens and all kinds of tasty things to eat. He's just one of many, many cameos in Link's Awakening. When they first started working on Link's Awakening, it wasn't a fully fledged, fully funded project. A lot of it was being made mostly for fun. And then when they realized they might have something really fun in their hands that's worth putting a full development cycle in, they kept a lot of those fun details in. You can also find Yoshi. We're not going to be playing with Bow Wow, but Bow Wow is in the game as well. We're going to see most of Wart from Super Mario Bros. 2, and I do mean we're going to be seeing most of him, and definitely not all of him. We'll also see anti-Kirbys, which look very, very much like Kirby. If Kirby wanted to eat you and, you know, spit you out, just like he does in the other games, but if, you know, Kirby was evil.
That sounds exactly like Kirby, actually.
If you wanted to work for the forces of evil instead of good, and happiness and joy and cuteness, that would be anti-Kirby.
Isn't that like Meta Knight?
I'm over here, I'm trying to talk. I gotta throw powder on you. I wonder why you're not talking to me. So we're actually doing something kind of vanilla there. You know, I'm saving him perfectly normally by throwing magic powder on him, transforming him back into a human. I'm grabbing my Dungeon 1 key, and then I'm immediately going to save and quit to save a rather long-winded cutscene from the owl. If we're lucky, we're not going to see the owl at all in this speedrun. He may be on the screen for a little bit, but he's not going to be speaking to us, if everything goes well, at least. And I'm going to screen warp back into town so I can go learn Marin's song from Marin. This is definitely her. Now, once again, we screen warped over a loading trigger for sprites. But solved these things very, very well, in my humble opinion.
Oh, that Moblin sings so pretty.
To answer your question, Claire, we do use bomb arrows a couple of times in this run, which even in the no wrong warp, out of bounds, no saving quick category, it's not considered. I shouldn't say it's not. I guess it's really not considered a glitch. I'm pretty sure it's actually an intended mechanic in this game. Even if it's not a very well documented one in the user manual. But it is not a glitch that is banned in any of the categories, as far as I know. I missed every single one of those screen warps, which is okay. It just would have helped me save time. Now, you don't have to use screen warping just to sequence break. If you're going in a straight line like that, it can save you a little bit of time going from screen to screen. But you definitely don't want to be there just trying to screen warp over and over and over again. At some point, it's just faster just to run ahead. It's not the biggest time save in the world if you don't need to use it. Now, a fun fact, if you manage to bring Bow Wow all the way up here, Bow Wow is a friendly companion of yours who will eat enemies. And for whatever reason, if you bring him up to Dungeon 7 and unlock Dungeon 7, he will sometimes just eat the cutscene. He'll eat the little keyhole there, just gobble it right up, and the cutscene will just immediately freeze. And you are temporarily soft locked until you change screens. Oh, there are Goombas in the game too. Had to go grab that seashell. We'll see Goombas again in a minute. And you also caught a glimpse of Anti-Kirby, but I think he was mostly off-screen there. There we go. I think he's on this. I'll come up here. So you can see, there's Anti-Kirby. Look at him. All short and fat and cute like. He's going to gobble you up, spit you out. He deals quite a bit of damage, actually. I definitely don't want to mess with him. But if you do fight him, they have the highest drop rate of fairies in the game. So if you're low on hearts and you have a safe way to fight them, that's a good way to pick up your hearts. And if you're at all familiar with this game, I can already hear your lamentations now. We are not going to be messing around with this cannonball or these pillars. But intended gameplay mechanic is to drag that big old cannonball you just saw all around the dungeon to knock down 4 support pillars. And when you do that, the ceiling caves in, and it unlocks another part of the dungeon. You can come up here and fight the boss. But if you can screen warp, the room that you need to get to exists in game data the whole time, obviously. You can just screen warp over to the room that you need to get to, come up here and fight the boss. Now, I'm down to 3 hearts, so I'm going to play it a little bit safe and hug this ladder, because I'm not great at the super, super, super duper ultra-fast insta-kill on this boss, which would be getting him... doing damage to him when he's about where I am on the ladder, But making him fly off the top of the screen above the ladder. And if you do that, he just can't kind of hanging out on the bottom of the screen. You can just keep dealing damage to him like that. But I don't have the extra hearts to play around with. I don't really want to climb back up here again. So playing it a little safe there for the sake of the marathon. Go through the door. And that's going to get us Dungeon 7. Boom. Boom. We have a couple of items to collect on our way to Dungeon 6 as well. Not as many as our last little stretch, though. But when you fall into this screen, I think this piece of art's pretty easy to find. You're in a really suspicious-looking room. There's nothing to do there but to swim around. So, of course, you're probably going to try diving down, see if there's anything hidden there. It's hidden, but it's not super well hidden, that piece of art. The next piece of art I'm going to get, I have no idea how you're supposed to find it except just to blindly look in literally every tile of water you possibly can. If there's any kind of in-game clue of where to find it, I definitely don't remember where it is. But I'm just going to warp down to this one little tile of land I get to work with here, which is not at all necessary, but very, very welcome because it lets me get into the water very quickly, get a couple of extra screen warps in, because water movement's quite a bit slower. They're right there. If you're missing exactly one piece of art in this game, it's probably that one. But now I gotta do a screen. Oh, first try. Nice. Doing screen warps in the water, it's the same thing. You just want to open the map just as you're about to move from one screen to the other. But your timing and your momentum for all of your movement is just completely... It dropped my inputs again. Why do you keep doing this? Right, left, up, down. It's just going to be that kind of day on the technical front of this run. Like the actual technical part, not even like technical gameplay, just hardware not wanting to do what it's supposed to do today. Gimme. Alright, so on our way to Dungeon 6, we're gonna skip. You notice we don't have the Dungeon 6 key yet, so I can't unlock Dungeon 6. I'm gonna come right up to this tile, the screen warp up. It's gonna put us in one of these Mad Hatter rooms. And the screen warp up again. Oh no! Nope. Alright, so we're gonna save and go back to the start. That's the danger of screen warping around cracked tiles, as I was explaining earlier. You have very little time to work with if you're not hopping around. And I was definitely trying to there, but I just ran out of time. Jump. Come on. Give me the screen warp. There we go. It's going to put us in at the back door of Dungeon 6. I'm going to grab these rupees. I'm going to grab this seashell. I'm going to come back inside. And I'm going to screen warp to the entrance of Dungeon 6, which gets us inside without having to find the key yet. We are going to get the Dungeon 6 key. It is part of the 100% category, so we do need to get it. We just have to get it right now. Boom. There we go. Oh, that ocarina. So I don't speedrun A Link to the Past, but I've been told that ocarina is almost as bad as bottles in A Link to the Past menuing in the speedrun. So if you have dabbled in that speedrun, or maybe the randomizer, maybe that means something to you. The ocarina is very, very frustrating to have to menu around. Let's screen warp into the boss room. I might be a little late on this first bomb. We'll see. 1, 2. No! So close. Oh no, I did not mean to drop that. Alright, so if you're fast enough, you can drop 3 bombs on this guy before the fight even really starts. I'm gonna grab my shield here, because that bomb missed. If you're fast enough, you can get 3 hits in before the fight really starts. But when you're coming in from the side by screen warping in like I did, you have to move that bottle out of the way. And if you're just a little bit off your game, it's just enough to throw you off. Because if you just come in through the front door, it's very, very easy to get all 3 hits in. But coming in from the side, it can throw your timing off just enough to cost you that 3rd hit. Yeah, the Dragon Quest V run was pretty slick. Apparently, I was at work and or sleeping for most of it, so I missed some of it too. But it came in pretty far under estimate. It was a great run. It's definitely something you want to go back and check, but not right now because you should be watching me. But no, I'll be headed to we'll be doing Dungeon 5 next. A couple more items to pick up here. We're gonna be picking up more seashells. Get out of here. Including one under the bridge, which is going to introduce a new trick called the bomb trigger glitch. Because I didn't get to name the trick, I would have called it the high explosive scene skip. You know, a Hess, because every good Zelda speedrun needs a Hess. I got over that without needing the boots today. Get over there. But just like any good Zelda speedrun, we're using a glitch that involves bombs. The bomb trigger glitch is used much, much more often in no wrong warp out of bounds runs than it is in this category, just because I have access to so many other glitches here. But this is one time I am going to use it. I'm going to be using it to skip most of the trading sequence minigame. We're going to be hopping basically pretty close to the end of it, just in time for us to unlock access to the Lens of Truth and therefore the boomerang. Can I? There we go. It's going to start by swimming under the bridge. And I want to drop 2 bombs in a 4-frame window. That's how you do the glitch. 2 bombs in a 4-frame window. And luckily, this tile right here is treated as a bottomless pit. So you can just mash the bomb button until something really good happens. And on this screen, the bomb trigger glitch plays the cutscene where I trade away the fishing hook that I don't have for what is definitely a mermaid's necklace. Nintendo of America has no idea what you're talking about, calling it the mermaid's bikini. It's definitely a necklace. That lets me skip a huge chunk of the trading sequence. I immediately trade this necklace in for the mermaid scale. But I'm not going to be doing anything with the mermaid scale until after Dungeon 5. Look at that catfish. I haven't stopped to admire it before, but it's a pretty cool catfish. Good looking catfish for a Game Boy game. Like, this is definitely Catfish's Maw, which is the name of the dungeon. It is very aptly named. We're going to be taking advantage of our screen warping ability here. Right here. There we go. Nope, maybe not. This time. 3rd time's a charm. Nicely done. First time every time. The door I just screen warped through automatically closes when you enter the room. So screen warping around it lets you avoid having to unlock it normally. Let's not be done. There we go. Oh, give me the sword. Get out of my way. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and solve this puzzle. It's a very, very difficult puzzle. I'm going to slide this to the left. I'm going to slide this to the right. I'm going to slide this to the right. And I'm going to grab my Rock's Feather here and get right over here. And I'm going to spoon warp to the left. And all of a sudden, that small key turns into a hook shot, which saves me not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 mini-boss fights. Because the mini-boss here is very, very, very reluctant to give up his hook shot. But what's happening here is that the game doesn't keep track of... it has a weird way of keeping track of hidden items. When it drops the small key on the screen there, the game isn't really coded to drop a small key on the screen. It's coded to drop the hidden item on the screen. On that room, the hidden item that drops from the sky just happens to be a small key. But if I screen warp over to the left, there's still a hidden item on the screen, but the hidden item for the other room just happens to be the hook shot. So the small key just magically transforms into the hook shot, Plus, since I never picked up that small key, I can solve the puzzle again to get my small key, which is good because otherwise I would just be stuck in the lobby. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna do another trick here. Let's see. There we go. As you can see, there was a little bit of lag when I opened up the menu there. That is because I used the magic rod just as I was moving from one screen to the other. And if you get the timing right with that, the game gets stuck in the command to draw a fireball on the screen, and it will just keep drawing more and more fireballs until there's no more room on the screen for other sprites. And if you do that right on the screen transition, there will be no room for the game to spawn enemies on the next screen. So if you're in a room where you need to defeat everything or defeat a mini-boss to continue, that's a good way to skip it, because it simply won't be on the screen. If it's not on the screen, then it doesn't exist. There we go. So 2 good screen warps there. Gets me into the boss room without much fuss today. My timer freeze. Live split. Live split.
Live split, please.
Live split just completely locked up on me. What is with technology today?
It's having a day.
It is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a very, very RNG heavy fight, as you might surmise just by me watching it right now. I can really only cover 2 of these spots at a time, and if I start chasing this head around, come here, 5, 6, 7, 8, there we go. If I start chasing him around, he's just gonna run away from me, so I just hang on the right side of the screen. It's very, very important that when you do get a grab, you get 4 swings in, because even if I use some kind of cheat code to get like a level 2 sword and a piece of power and deal extra damage and so on and so forth, he only goes down when he takes 8 hits from any source of damage, or rather whatever level your sword might be. It has to take 8 swings, so you definitely want to get 4 swings in per grab. I don't think I can recover my timer here. I cannot do a thing with it.
Well, we won't know if you PB unless you retime it after.
You won't know if I don't PB unless I retime it after.
That's
either.
true. Hey, it's a PB. How do we know?
Definitely gonna be underestimate.
We'll
We're gonna
never
be like
know.
35 minutes underestimate now.
Yeah, exactly. Please don't make us more underestimate.
So I'm just going there to set a saving quit point so I can screen warp up here. Huzzah. Where's my shovel? There's my shovel. And we're going to save a quick go right back to the cave. You actually, if, remember, we were actually here. Why am I digging holes? Give me this. We actually came through here earlier to get the Dungeon 7 key. Get a screen warp here. Screen warp. There we go. And you can see there's the mermaid skill, but we've already got it. So I'm going to come outside and put the mermaid skill in the statue for 2 reasons. One, if I grab the second mermaid statue, I don't soft lock the game. I do soft lock the trading sequence. If that makes sense, I won't be able to complete it. Secondly, I need the Lens of Truth. Third, if I don't put the mermaid skill on the statue is still there when I walk out of the staircase. And unless I use the Ocarina Warp, I can't leave. So it's definitely not going to help us out. Oh wow, 4 for 4 on those screen warps. Those screen warps let me skip this dude right here, that big fat walrus who just fell asleep and refuses to move. The other way you can skip him in a speedrun is to use a bomb trigger glitch. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that, because it's a little bit harder there than it was under the bridge. And there's plenty of potential to soft lock your game doing that. So being able to skip that is a good benefit to having the other glitches at our disposal. Get out of the way, Ocarina. 4 pieces of heart. I'm trying to count in my head what I have left. Excuse me. Just the 1 in the well. There are 2 by the witch's hut. And there's the one in Alright, so good. We're good on we are good on pieces of heart. I have not forgotten to pick any up.
I do want to note that that walrus is mood.
He is super lazy. He only wakes up if you bring Marin over to sing to him, or if you glitch around him. But normally, he only wakes up if Marin comes to sing to him. And in this category in particular, where all the event triggers go backwards, that is quite an ordeal indeed. You actually can't do that until the end of Dungeon 2. And it's a very long walk around at that point. I did not mean to, what are you, it did it again! Why does it keep dropping my D-pad? And it only drops the D-pad. All my other buttons work fine, and then the D-pad's just like, nah, I don't want to work anymore. Now I gotta reconfigure everything. I did not mean to screw up into that room. I got trigger happy on my select button there. So we'll do it one more time. Just want to walk normally into that room. There we go. And I'm actually going to trade away my hookshot. I know we just got it and it's a great item, but we're actually done with it for speedrunning purposes.
No.
One. And we're going to be counting to 6 again because we are going back to the Cunner World for the first time in a while. This room's going to put us right back in Maid Village. We're not going to be killing Grandma this time because now I have a magic rod. And magic rod fries chickens. That's 2. You do have to be careful with these sprites, or rather, you have to be careful when you're using the magic rod. If the sprite doesn't completely disappear from the screen, it does not count as a kill. And with the magic rod, that's just a little bit delayed. 5. And you. 6. Now we're going to head to Dungeon 4. Dungeon 4. You can spoon warp into Cunner World. I did not earlier, because things tend to happen when you screen warp into Cunner World, especially if you screen warp vertically. For whatever reason, I tend to find more soft locks and glitches that way, so I'm just gonna walk it out. Now that I'm over my target. But we've already picked up the item that we need in Dungeon 4, and we're already in the boss room, so I don't need to find the key. So we're just gonna go fight the boss. And we're gonna use bomb arrows, fight this big old fish. 1, 2, 3. He goes down to 3 hits from bomb arrows. If I use the magic rod, which is usually the highest DPS item in the game, it takes way more hits. So that's kind of an oddity in the run. There we go. And that's it for Dungeon 4. We're not here for very long at all. Outside of getting the flippers. Would the Pokeflute move the walrus? Probably. You would think so, right? You can also see Dungeon 4 is also not unlocked. We do have the Dungeon 4 key, but we don't have to unlock it as part of 100%.
It's great. We can hear the music already, but can't see it yet.
That's so right. I'm on it. Excuse me. There you go. So I just got Song 2, which is very handy. It has a couple of different uses. If you use it outside, it's going to warp you to this little lake I'm about to land in. If you use it inside a dungeon, it warps you back to the start of the dungeon, which in a no save and quit category is how you get around not being able to save and quit. The Ocarina does the same exact thing that a save and quit would do. I'm going to grab a potion here. I'm not doing a 3-heart run, so I don't necessarily need it, but it is a 100% run. I do want to grab that item anyway. Now we can pick up some items in the force we've been putting off. 1. Our container. Sugar. I wanted to get that screen warp. shovel, magic rod. There's another seashell. I should probably start counting those. I'm at 15. As I've said, I don't think I really explained it all the way, but as I said earlier, we're only picking up 20 of the 26 magic seashells, which is nice because it means if I happen to skip one, which has happened on numerous occasions, there's one very quick to get back up. Oh, for the love of Pete. This bat is just in the way today. I'm trying to be nice and not menu to kill you, but get out of my way, please. But the reason why we only pick up 20 of the 26 is if you turn into 20 seashells to get your level 2 sword, the last 6 seashells all turn into rupees. So there are no more seashells to get at that point, and the community has decided that that means you've picked up all of these seashells because there are no more seashells to get. It's debatable if you want to count that as 100% or not, but that is the rule set the community has gone with. So that's the one that I went with when I was writing out this category. The end result is the same. We're going to get the level 2 sword, and there will be no more seashells to pick up. Let's see, we've only got one more piece of heart left, and we're going to say that for the very, very end, as we're making our way to the windfish egg. Up next on the docket is Dungeon 3. And I would screen warp down there, but I've got a funny feeling. I would drop it. So let's just run down here with the boots. Where's my shovel? Now I've got to reset the screen because if I screen warp into an area, are you joking me? If I screen warp into an area, I don't have to. There we go. If you screen warp into a room, any items that are hidden underground that you would dig up with the shovel, kind of shift. Like those are part of the sprites that will shift in the screen warp. Wow. So I don't really know where the key is at that point. So I just reset the screen so that it's back in its default position. And I'm going to save and quit at the start of this cave here. There are lots of ways for me to soft lock the game in this cave. And even if I could save and quit out, that's not necessarily a good option. So I'll want to reset my console if I get stuck at any point in this cave. Don't save and quit. I'm going to drop into the hole, end up back out of bounds. Oh, sugar. Just like that. So I've managed to take a wrong turn and go into the seashell cave there, which thankfully did not soft-lock my game. But I don't have 20 seashells yet, so I didn't get my item. 16, 17, 18... 17, 18, I'm counting 19. Yeah, all right, so I've got all my seashells, so I'm just going to go into Wart's room here. And I told you we'd be seeing part of Wart from Super Mario Bros. 2, and I meant that very, very literally. Of course, I'm ahead of stream a little bit, but wait till you see this. This is quite a room.
I'm ready and waiting to see part of Wart. Yep. That's certainly part of Wart.
So I can see my gameplay screen and I can see OBS. It looks very, very different in OBS. Like it's very slowly changing from one screen to the other on OBS. In the game window, it is just rapidly flashing in a very, very terrible, horrifying way. So thankfully you guys don't get to see that. You might have also noticed in that room, I made sure to enter on the second column, because in the top left corner is a cracked tile. And while you might be in a cutscene listening to a beautiful, wonderful concert, and that doesn't mean the cracked tile is inactive. A really, really good way to lose a run at this point is to enter in the wrong tile. You'll land on the cracked tile, it will break underneath you, you'll fall in constantly while the concert's playing until you run out of hearts, at which point you'll continue to fall in. Then when the concert is over, they take your 300 rupees and they don't give you the song. And at that point, you're pretty much up a creek, because 300 rupees is an enormous amount of money to have to make up in this game without any chests to do that with. So you definitely do not want to do that.
That sounds really, really terrible.
Oh, it's so sad. It is the worst feeling in the world. I'm going to use a Fire Rod glitch here to pop this chest, because that chest spawns when there are no enemies on the screen, and the fire rod glitch means there's no enemies on the screen. So I don't have to fight anything and just go right on through. You see they all respawn though. That is the thing about using the fire rod glitch. The enemies aren't actually defeated, so they will respawn if you enter and leave the room again. Or rather, if you leave and enter the room again. But if you remember earlier, we already grabbed the Dungeon 3, the Nightmare Key for Dungeon 3. Just gotta make sure I got one small key. And that's all I'm gonna need is this one last key. You're gonna come with me, aren't you? You sure are. Let me reset this room. I'm gonna nudge up against the wall here and jump into this and hopefully get what's called a flock clip. I didn't get it. Try again. Don't do this to me, game. What I want to do is jump into the block, and when that text message appears, it's gonna give me one frame, one pixel of movement. There we go. To let me like nudge myself in the corner, which is gonna let me skip needing to get a key for that block. If I was having a hard time getting it and need to get a small key, there are plenty of small keys available that are easy to get. Drop down, drop down. All right. There we go. Now, you're definitely not meant to have the magic rod for this boss, and the eyes are very, very weak to this magic rod. Normally, you have to sword dash into them to get them to split up like this, but you can just split them up with the magic rod there. You do have to spin dash to actually completely separate them, but then the individual eyes go down to one shot each from the magic rod, which is a very, very, very fast kill. You're definitely not meant to have these items at this point. I keep splitting, and there is no live split working today.
You never want to get in the habit of not splitting, though.
Oop. You know what's really frustrating isn't that only 29 minutes and 45 seconds in my run and I'm already this far. Like, that's definitely not frustrating, but the text is red, like I'm behind my splits.
Yeah, you're like, no.
Somehow I'm on world record pace, and my split's gonna be red anyway. Like, how is this possible?
Wrecking your world record. Thanks, Live Split.
Oh, one more. There we go. That should put me at 19. I'm almost scared to look, but I'm pretty sure I'm at 19 seashells. The last one I'm gonna get. Oops. It's gonna be up here in the corner. I did not mean to switch both items. There we go. Where's my red rod? Okay. Now I'm gonna go turn in my 20 seashells and get my level 2 sword. Right. And get some pretty awesome sound from the Game Boy sound chip here too. There we go. There's our level 2 sword. Save and quit. And the nice thing about this room is when you save and quit from there, or rather when you enter the room, it does not change your save and quit location. So I can go all the way back to Dungeon 3, which is exactly where I want to be, for another trip into the Kenner World. We're going to Dungeon 2 next, and when you go into the Kenner World, you basically start in Dungeon 2, so that's where we want to go, right? It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that is going to be the fastest way to get into Dungeon 2. Die! Stop dodging my boomerang. Get down here, over here. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, so we're in the Kenner World version of Dungeon 2, which unfortunately doesn't really do anything for me. I can't really pick up any items or get to the boss room from here. So I'm just going to look for a staircase that happens to be in Dungeon 2 that I can use to enter real world Dungeon 2, if you will. Just like that, we're just going to go right to the right. And in this room, I have to kill enemies in a certain order. So while, yes, the chest does spawn when all the enemies are dead, I have to kill them in a certain order. So I can't use the fire rod glitch. Wow. I can't use the fire rod glitch because that kills everything all at the same time. Well, that was pretty close. Let's, alright, well, I didn't mean to, wanted to pick up the boomerang there. That's okay. There we go. There's our nightmare key to get into the, level 2 boss room. Get out of my way. So I'm gonna clear out some of these bats here. And I clear you out too. Let me get rid of this bat too. I walked right into the pit. Get out of here. I'm gonna try something kind of fancy here. If it doesn't work, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But if it does work, it's gonna look super awesome.
That
so
feeling.
This next room. Let me just screen warp. And now I'm going to come out my screen warp and my fire rod glitch into one super epic trick that clears the room and puts me by this. That looks so awesome when you get it right. The reason why I clear all the enemies out is sometimes they'll carry over into screen warp and totally ruin my fun. So if you take too long to set up, it's technically not faster, but it's way more fun. So the Dungeon 2 boss is the Mad Genie, who actually has quite a bit of health. Especially as a level 2 boss, I feel like he's got way too much health and deals quite a bit of damage. But if you know the trick, you can cut out a lot of the boss fight by picking up the bottle, getting the wall clip over here, and just throwing the bottle out of bounds. That breaks it immediately rather than needing like 2 or 3 cycles. Then you can use bomb arrows. I'm going to use the magic rod. I'm going to drop a bomb. When he ricochets off the bomb, I'm going to try to hit him with my magic rod, and I missed, you punk. There we go. If you get the timing a little bit better than I did, the bomb knocks him right into your magic rod shot, and that takes him out immediately. It looks really cool. I lost all the cool swag points I got from that trick on the boss fight. Yeah, the timer is broken, and I cannot recover it, unfortunately.
I like how Morning Songs put it, that the runner went so fast they broke time itself.
I'll take that. That seems like a good answer to me.
Right?
Yep. And I want the alchemy, I can't get it. Screen warp. So that just leaves one dungeon left. We're going to make our way over to Dungeon 1. Screen warp. Alright, don't screen warp. I'll just run. I don't need to screen warp anyway. How about that? Punk. There we go. That was way too early. There we go. I'm going to make a quick pit stop in Marin's house here. Because if I do miss the screen warp, I'm going to be stuck in a tree, and I would have been going all the way back to Dungeon 2 unless I stop in the house. There we go. Boom, boom. So since we're doing Dungeon 1 with pretty much every item in the game and all these glitches at our disposal, we're really not here for very long, unless I missed this screen warp like I just did. 1, 2... Oh! Mini Moldorm, please. 3 screen warps puts you right by the boss key. Now, you can set it up so that you can screen warp into the boss room in this dungeon, which means technically you wouldn't need the key. I might go the long way. But for whatever reason, if you screen warp into it from certain Y coordinates, the game will just soft lock rather than letting you fight the boss. So I'm just gonna grab the key and go in that way. Just open the door normally. Because it'll soft lock when I'm on a good run. It won't when I'm on a bad run. So I'm just not gonna fuss with it. I haven't really figured out why it doesn't. But we had the level 2 sword in Dungeon 1, so one good spin slash. Take the boss out immediately. Here's my ocarina.
Listen, Wells, you will never prove that I broke the timer. I'm not confirming or denying, I'm just saying you'll never prove it. That is an excellent question, Yagamoth. Do we know approximately how much longer this run is, Mike? Not having a timer?
Well, I'm not sure because all of my splits are. If I don't have my splits, it's really hard for me to remember how all the times work. We are done with all the dungeons. There are just a couple more items to pick up and a windfish egg. So 10 minutes, I think, is a pretty conservative estimate.
That's fair.
That might be a little high, but then something's gonna go funny in the boss fight. So I'll say 10 minutes.
And are you going to do a glitch exhibition afterwards?
I had not been thinking about it, so I'm not prepared off the top of my head to do one.
Nope, that's fair.
Okay. So that gets us all of our hearts there. We are done with pieces of heart. If you save and quit there too fast, you actually don't get the bonus heart, I think. You definitely don't get the heart refill if you save and quit too fast. That just leaves the level 6, or rather the dungeon 6 key to pick up. One more screen. And all that screen warping and out of bounds play puts us in the Armo Shrine, which is where the dungeon 6 key is. So even though we've already finished it, I'm going to pick up the key now. If this guy dies too close to the top of the screen, the key can sometimes spawn out of bounds. I've only ever had it happen once, but it can happen. And now, just inventory check. Yeah, we're all good to go. We're ready to go to the windfish egg. But we're not going to do that either because we haven't gone to any other dungeon through the front door. Why would we go through the windfish egg through the front door? This poor lady, we just raid her house and then just start glitching through her house. She's here with her kid, and we're just, don't mind if I do, just come barging right in.
Isn't that what you do in these games? You just barge into people's houses?
Ba-da-bum. So if you just walk in here normally without dropping down the pit, the game will soft lock. If you screen warp in, you can stay and fight. Unfortunately, he's wandered off out of bounds. So you have to wait for him to come back a little bit. It is not. I'm not sure it even is faster. It would not be that much faster than going through normally at that point. But you can screen warp right to the last jump to get into this boss fight. So you don't actually have to do the windfish egg at all in this category if you can go out of bounds. And now we're just onto the last boss rush here. Now we've seen this combat style before. We're just going to reflect the magic back at him. Our first 2 hits are free. After that, it's I'll put air quotes, 50% chance that he throws magic I can reflect. It's going to feel like a lot less than 50%. But mathematically speaking, it's 50%. We'll see what we get today. 0 for 2. 0 for 3. Oh for 4. So Theoretically, if you really want to, if you just flip the coin tails that many times in a row, he can completely zero out my health and the extra health bar I get from my magic potion. There is no limit to the number of times he can throw whatever that spell is that I can't reflect. Alright, now if I get in the right position here, it looks like I'm good. If I get my timing right, let's see. You can, yes, unlock the Moldorm form here. Just kind of swing at him. You know he's good and dead. That is both position and timing based. That's going to bring up Ganon. And we're just going to sword dash into him. A sword dash with the level 2 sword takes him out very, very quickly. That goes down to 1 hit from pretty much anything. Now I'm going to switch to the Boomerang for Deathel. Deathel goes down to 16 hits from the arrow, from the bow, I should say. If you're completely and utterly crazy, you can use 16 bombs, which means you have to time the bombs exploding with his eye opening. I don't know who even discovered that was possible, but apparently it's possible. He also goes down to 1 hit, just 1 hit from the Boomerang. But it does not save enough time to be worthwhile to anything other than a 100% run. Oops, I did not mean to jump. Oh yeah, time will be when the screen fades to white. Split, split, split. Oh, live split. Look.
Live split, please.
Live split. What if you use bomb arrows? Bomb arrows, I believe, will just bounce off the eyeball and not deal any damage.
That's weird. Listen, some people like to have a beautiful wood boss room. I think I support it. You know, this all stone and cave is just old news.
You're right, Wells. I did it. I saved a planet. I saved the world by leading to its complete and utter demise.
That's a spirit.
The fish wakes up and everything disappears.
Hold on, are you saying this was all a dream?
I am.
What?
I am saying it was all a dream.
My life, my childhood has been ruined.
I am letting the owl talk, but the timer stops, so it doesn't count. Yeah, this is the only time the owl really gets a word in.
I love how, like, just patterny the windfish is. So pretty.
And they put a lot of effort in that sprite.
They really did. The wind whale. Goodbye, wind whale. We can see the bow wows.
Yep.
I love just how broken this game is.
Now I know we have a schedule change.
We do.
After this run.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. The one thing I can't show off, and I'm not. It is definitely not a run I'm super proficient in, but it would take me about 5 minutes to do a true any %, no restrictions. What is the word I am looking for? Memory manipulate. What is the word? Arbitrary code execution run. I would just have to look up the screenshot because I do have to set the file name specifically. But I don't know if the runner after me is ready because I don't know who the runner after me is at this moment.
The runner after you is Yagamoth, and we are going to have a Goof Troop run followed by the revenge of Rockman X. Spelled without a K.
I love Goof Troop speedruns.
Right?
That's the best.
Yeah, it should be pretty fabulous, I have to say.
Are we ready to go with Goof Troop?
We are just about ready. I do not
want to delay Goof Troop.
So in that case, what we'll do is we will clue up here. So thanks everyone. We are gonna just send you all to a little breaky break, and then we will be off, and we will be showing some more stuff. So we will be back shortly with that, and I'm gonna pause this lovely music, as wonderful as it is. We're gonna get the other stuff going, because, you know, we like music, and we'll see you back here in about 10 or 15 minutes.